Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into the Back to 12 podcast. I'm RC Maxfield alongside Lyle Leong Jr. And Lyle, I'll say this. I went to Vegas for March Madness this past weekend, my guy. Absolutely electric, but I was part of arguably the worst bad beat that I have ever seen. And it happened involving another Big 12 team. But we digress. We got to talk about a certain Big 12 athletic program on this one. But before we do, Lyle, how you doing, my guy?
Man, doing good, man. I also want to apologize to everybody out there who listened to anything I said about this tournament. I was wrong on almost every game. So I want to apologize to the people that put their trust in me. If you lost any money, I can't pay you back, but I want to offer out an apology though. So, I'm blessed to be back. I still got three teams in there. But I'm really ashamed of what I put out there into the atmosphere. And I want to apologize to those college teams that I chose to win. I feel like that was on me, fellas. I shouldn't have did that to y'all.
That's
So,
fair. That's fair.
I own
I'm
that.
in a good spot. I'm in a good spot. I mean, my national champions are still alive.
Mine too.
Um, People were making fun of me in the comments about, oh, how are you going to pick Gonzaga to win? How are you going to pick Creighton to go this far? Like, Creighton's going to make the Elite Eight. I'm telling you. I tried to tell you about them boys from
Yeah,
Omaha.
you
Even
did.
Murphy did too. If y'all watching the video version, even Murphy tried to tell you. He's right there. He tried to
Big
tell
Murph.
you.
No, Murph.
There we go. But yeah, let's get into this because we're going to talk about spring football today on the podcast. And if y'all are going to notice, this one's going to be a little bit shorter because I've had some people say, hey, can you just condense the videos down? I don't have time for 30 minutes. I have to listen to it in parts. Have no fear. We'll break it up into two videos. It'll still be here on YouTube. Just got to go from one video to the next. So we're going to talk about football on this one. But first, before we do, Lyle, we got to give a major shout out to Lady Raider basketball going
Man.
to the Super 16 of the WNIT after their win against SMU at the USA. They will play, well, my old stomping grounds, the University of Arkansas,
Mm.
on Friday up there at Bud Walton Arena. Should be a lot of fun, regardless of the outcome of that game. This experience for this program is going to be absolutely monumental here in the next couple of years. You think about it, they just had their best recruiting class, Lyle. They didn't even get to have the number one JUCO player that was in that class play this year because of injury. She'll come back next year after a medical issue. Like, Lady Raider basketball isn't back all the way where people want it to be, but I promise you, it is headed in that direction. And Coach Gerlich and crew have done a phenomenal job.
Yeah. And I got to shout out, man. She's got swag. She got those girls playing with energy.
How
And
about them
honestly,
boots?
yeah, man, she swagged out. When I saw her wear that jersey, though, that's probably top notch, dopest things I've ever seen. First off, you gotta have enough confidence to wear it. Secondly, you gotta you
Well,
gotta
first
rock
of
it.
all, you got to actually play college basketball to do it.
Yeah, bro. I don't think I could pull that off, man. I don't think I could coach on Friday night with a jersey on myself. But I mean, I think that was a dope idea. But it's really cool to see the transformation too of those girls. Making it exciting to watch. Like I enjoyed watching the game, and so that's been really cool. I've watched a lot of games over my time playing, and no disrespect to any team, any girl that's ever been there, but just the style that they play has been pretty electric. They got some young players that can go, and so it's really fun to watch and really cool to see how passionate coach is and just the way she gets the response from those girls, man. It's really cool to see, just what Texas Tech is doing with all their hires. So, I know we'll get into it another time and talk about the basketball coach, but I'm excited to see who they bring in, when they bring them in, and what he's going to do because I think that they've hit on all levels. Volleyball did better this year. Baseball is
That's
at
Coach
top right
Greystone.
now. Yeah, but women's basketball, third round. Fellas, men's had a little short, but they'll get back on it. And football did well, so it's cool to see these track and fields number one. Golf's been doing their thing, so it's
Tennis as well. They're high
yeah,
up there.
man. So it's just good that that speaks volumes to Kirby. I know people give him a hard time when something doesn't go right. So sometimes we got to give him his flowers when it does. But I mean,
Absolutely.
shout out to them, man. I know Friday night I'll be locked in and we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, shout out to Bailey Mapin, man. She's a
Yeah,
stud, man. She's a
Stud.
stud. Yep,
Yeah.
she's a stud right there. And guess what? She's at Tech for at least another 3 years. So there you go. Um, Also wanted to give a shout out to Tech baseball. Huge series win over number 12 Oklahoma State there at Dan Law Field out in Lubbock. They've got a real chance, Lyle, to win the Big 12. They'll need to probably split the next 2 series that they have. Those are against 2 teams at the higher upper echelon of the Big 12. But hey, this team, it's that old saying. I've been saying it since I started covering baseball for Texas Tech. Coach Tadlock never rebuilds. He just reloads. It's that simple. And it's a corny cliche that I think everybody uses. And God knows I'm not the one that made it up. But it's just the absolute truth. Like, I mean, it just seems like every year there's 4 or 5 guys that obviously they're super talented. No doubt about it. But they even exceed expectations you have for them. And this year, I mean, Austin Green is one of them. Mason Molina is one of them. I mean, you got so many guys. I mean, Mason Molina, he was the guy last year that helped you out in the tournament. And now he's, top 10 in the conference in ERA with a 2.81 ERA. Just phenomenal stuff from Tech baseball as they move forward, and they have a real chance to potentially take home some hardware this year in the Big 12. Lyle, before we get into the crux of this podcast, though, because it's going to be about football. Spring football opened up yesterday at the time of this recording. Obviously, you know a thing about football, and I just sit back and listen to you. But I want to hear people's opinion on this. One word to describe how they feel about Texas Tech football going into 2023. Let us know down in the comments, because I think that there's a lot of ways you can go. I've seen some just flat out unrealistic expectations, I think, which is fair. That's part of being a fan. And then also, like, what are we thinking here? You think they're going to go backwards that much? Like, what are we thinking? But let's talk about it, because yesterday, again, Lyle, was the first spring practice. I'm sure you'll be out there a few times to watch them. But year 2 of Joey McGuire got underway, and let's just start out with the comment that everybody's talking about on social media, Lyle. Joey McGuire opened his presser yesterday with this. This 2023 team could beat the bowl team by 14 points. What are your thoughts on that?
And I actually went to they had an alumni lunch that we went to. He spoke and he said that as well. I think he knows. If your team as, especially being a head coach. I know if my team is better than last year or the year before, and you're always going to get a little coach talk, as they say, and they're always going to say, hey, we're going to, but when you say those type comments, you really mean it and you know it. They got, some guys coming back in key spots. And like I said, I think the key to football, in my opinion, is the quarterback position. And they got a really good one coming back that was successful in that program. And I tell people it's each year the game slows down, from freshman year, it's moving like super fast. Everybody's like, oh man, I saw by sophomore year, it slows down a little bit. By junior year, it slows down. By senior year, it's super slow. And for some people that are really talented, it slows down their freshman year, and it goes even slower their sophomore year, depending on your ability. So I think he means when he says that, and I think people can't get it twisted though. At the end of the day, kids got to perform. So yeah, he has the ability, he has to do it. And that's the part as fans we got to understand. You can come up with the greatest game plan ever. I think that I've done that a few times. I thought I've come up with a great game plan, and it just wasn't executed as well. And then there's been some times where they executed and the game plan wasn't that great. So it's one of those things. It's like a yin yang. They got to go hand in hand. You got to have a good game plan, but those kids have to execute. And people's got to understand there's a lot of adjustments. There's a lot of things that goes on in a game that people don't necessarily see. They see, oh man, that's messed up. But there's every series on offense and defense, there's adjustment. Every series, there's something that's getting fixed. So I think, don't get me wrong. I think, of course, he's always got to be positive. No, there's no head coach in the world that isn't positive. But I also think he believes in what he's saying with kids coming back, being a year older, getting some of those transfer kids in, his class that he got coming in. I think those are the things that, he means. And like I said, me especially, I was critical on the receiver play last year. I was critical on a lot of things, but like I said, a year makes a difference. And I'm living proof of that. each year makes a difference, and who you're with and who you're around. You know, they got new coach in Juice at the receiver position. Great dude. Like I said, I met him once, reached out to me, talked to me. Man, I go play for him right now. So I think that, you know, the juice, the energy, that second year of
No pun
people.
intended there, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm
No.
saying? No fun. But just the way that they got rocking in year two makes a huge difference. You know, as this being my second year being a high school head coach, huge difference on what you got going on and the buy-in. So I think, like I said, I think he means that, and I think the momentum is with them too. And even from what people believe, the ticket sales, you know, I try to get a box. It's 300 people on the waiting list. And I don't
Yeah.
think it's been like that in a long time. So it's been awesome to see just the buy-in and the belief and I believe that they're gonna be better. I believe that you know, they have the capability to beat that team. But with that being said, it comes down to, are these kids gonna perform and how they're gonna do it. And so I think, you know, only time could tell, because on any given day in the league we play in, just like basketball, you know, I seen Texas Tech play Kansas close. I seen them beat Kansas State. And you know what I'm saying? Kansas State's still playing right now. So it's a game in the Big 12. We got to understand, because you don't have a successful record does not mean that you're not good. Does not mean that your players aren't that good. That means they showed up for the occasion, and we didn't in most cases. So I'm excited. And I believe him when he says that. You know, how do you feel about it? What do you think?
I mean, it's so early to tell. I mean, it's one of those things, man. Like, it's coach speak to me.
Yeah.
But he has to say it. Like, in terms of like it's one of those deals like where if he firmly believes that, and I truly believe he believes that, right? Like, then say it, right? Like, that's what this time of year is for, to get your players to buy in even a little bit more. And I think that that's what this is. I also say this. I mean, I've seen some of these guys post on social media, and the strength and conditioning staff has done a Jesus type job. I mean, my goodness. And we'll talk about the guy that really stands out to me here a little later. It's actually a transfer. But he's put on, like, it looks like at least 25 pounds. And I don't even think it phases him. And he needed to put it on there. And I think he's going to truly be an impact guy for Texas Tech. He also mentioned this to Joey McGuire. Kosi Eldridge and Henry Teeter still uncertain about their eligibility. It seems like we're way too far into this not to know their status, right? Like, the NCAA should let them know if they have an extra year by now, right?
I will say no, the NCAA doesn't move like that. Um, the NCAA definitely is on their time, you know, being a part of it's definitely on their time. There's a lot of people that it goes through. And so, you know, sometimes you're waiting on this just to get to the next person, to get to the next person. So there's no doubt in my mind that they're still waiting because of the amount of people it goes through. Like,
It's just
even,
ridiculous, though.
yeah, even like compliance, like it's nuts. It's freaking nuts, man. So,
Ridiculous.
but shout out to Texas Tech too, man, for just the way that they feed them, the way that they got the bar set up, the shakes. Like, I could only dream. I tell people, we got
Yeah.
one muscle milk when I was in college, one, and for a guy that weighs
Well,
150
science
pounds,
didn't exist back then, Lyle. It's been so long, right?
man, that wasn't it. I drink that muscle milk and still weigh 150. I'm like, this ain't it. So it's awesome job by them and their vision, though, and to kind of get with the times, because I know we're back in there older, but I mean, like I said, they got PF Changs as snacks. You know, back in the day, we was eating steak, then the next day we eat chopped steak, then the next day we eat chopped steak with gravy, and then the next day it'd be it'd be some kind
At
of
least you're
stew.
getting steak, though. I mean, I was eating ramen, my guy. I take the steak,
But what
but I
kind of
get what
steak?
you're saying. I get what
But
you're
what
saying, though.
kind of steak is the question, brother? It wasn't ribeye. I can assure you, brother.
That's fine. That's fine. I was eating chicken. I was eating chicken flavored ramen, and it was just that powder that made it taste like chicken, my guy. I'll tell you that much right now.
No
There's a
doubt, no
reason I
doubt.
didn't gain any weight in college. It's called I was starving.
Yeah, bro.
Um, talking about beefing up though. Let's talk about the offensive line, because he talked about who was starting. If the game was to happen today, obviously we're like 164 days away. Like, a lot can change.
Yeah.
But I did find it interesting that he said that they flipped the left tackle and the right tackle. So from left to right, it goes Monroe, not General Mills. You think he's a big serial guy with that last name, Lyle?
Gotta be. If he's a smart man, he will
Yeah.
turn that into NIL.
Yeah.
Now the
What's your
question
favorite
is,
cereal though?
I was about to say that's the question is, what kind of cereal does this man
Yeah,
want to promote? Me
sure.
personally, I'm a
You
cinnamon
look like a
toast.
Lucky Charms guy.
Nah, cinnamon toast crunch guy, man.
Oh,
But if I'm
spicy.
in
I
his
like it.
shoes, I'm going Wheaties. But what kind of
Well,
guy are you? If I wait, let me guess. I would say for you, you seem like a Fruit Loops guy.
no, I don't really like Fruit Loops. I don't
Oh,
like
okay.
fruity. I don't like fruity cereals. I
You
like the
know?
chocolate ones where it turns into chocolate milk.
Oh yeah. And you drink
You
the
know what I
milk?
mean? Because it's like an added bonus. You
That's
know,
true. You ever
like
had
my favorite
O's?
one when I was little was Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah, cocoa puffs. They're good. You ever had O's, honey O's?
Oh yeah. I'm about it.
That's
I'm about it.
top two
Um.
for me.
Oh, okay. Wait. So you're going cinnamon toast crunch and O's?
Yeah, without a doubt. Only cereal I'll buy.
Really?
That's
Really?
it.
Yeah, I would probably say if I'm taking nutrition out of it, definitely going Reese's Puffs.
Yeah, those are legit.
Like, I mean, and to be honest, I really haven't cared about what I've eaten for, well, it's about to be 29 years. So it doesn't really matter to
Right.
me. I'm going to eat whatever's in front
What
of me.
about off brand
Oh, all
brand?
day, all
Okay.
day. I'll tell you this right now. I think Great Value, i.e., the Walmart brand, is better than General Mills. I can't prove it. I can't prove it. Maybe it's just the fact that I saved $5 on a bag that's bigger than a New York City apartment of cereal. But hey, it's delicious.
I think it's 50-50 though. Cereal is good. I have had some great values that
You a big Pop Tart guy too?
no, I'm not a big Pop Tart guy. My
Really?
kids, yeah, I'm not a big Pop Tart guy. And they
Oh,
like the
I'll eat Pop
brown
Tarts all
sugar.
day. Oh, all day. I'll
You
eat Pop Tarts
oh
all
man. I see
day.
I'm a strawberry guy if we're going down that road. I'm gonna
Oh,
get
I'll eat anything you put in front of me.
yeah,
If it's a Pop Tart, I'll take a chance.
yeah. I buy stuff for my kids and eat it and blame it on them. So I'm not really a Pop Tart guy, but I
Ah, that's where all the fruit snacks went, huh?
that for sure. It's not healthy for them, so I want to look out for my
Oh
children.
yeah,
So
you're trying to make the. I get you. What
I
kind of
better
fruit snacks though?
separate
You
out.
going Welch's?
No, we actually are what's that blue bag? We're not Welch's. We're my favorite is Welch's, but we don't buy them Welch's. We buy I forgot, maybe Moats with the
Oh yeah. I know what you're
the
talking about. Yeah,
apples of
the
fruit.
Apple
Yeah.
brand. The Apple
Yeah.
brand.
My kids love that kind. I'm a Welch's guy myself, blue bag Welch's guy.
I'm a Gushers guy.
I love Gushers too. But that's the only candy I don't eat candy. Only candy I eat is gummy bears and Gushers. I
Oh,
don't
so
eat it.
you're a fruity kind of sweet guy.
No, I don't like when it comes to drinks, no fruitiness. The only
No. I mean
I
like
like
candy wise. Like when it comes to candy, like you're like strictly like fruit snacks and stuff like that.
yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, it's all chocolate for me. I swear to
Chocolate?
God. Oh, I honestly, like, I'm not even remorseful. My fiance will go to the store and buy a bag of chocolate for herself. She doesn't get one piece. I'm not
Yeah.
even remorseful. I do not care. I'll go buy more. I do not care. Like it is a detriment to our relationship if she buys chocolate for herself. She has to hide that. She better
Yeah.
hide it and not tell me because
Hey,
you know those
but y'all
family
about to
size
be
bag of M&Ms.
yeah.
I'll eat one of those by myself while watching a game.
But there's the thing, you're just setting her up for when y'all get married. Y'all become one. What's hers is yours,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just like might as I damn near just have to go to Costco to buy candy just so we have it in the house more than one sitting.
See, I'm not a you gotta be a member, so it hurts.
Highly recommend. Highly
It hurts.
recommend. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how we got I do know how we got there. Monroe Mills. That's on
Yeah.
me. That was a hell of a sideways turn there.
That was.
Monroe Mills is the starting left tackle, according to Joey McGuire. Then Cole Spencer, remember, he was the Western Kentucky guy that sat out last year because of a knee injury. He's back and healthy. Rusty Staats, another Western Kentucky transfer. He's at center. Dennis Wilburn, the starting center last year for Texas Tech, moves to right guard. And then I mentioned a little bit earlier, after we just talked about all the Fruit Loops and everything else in there, they flipped left tackle and right tackle. So Caleb Rogers is now at right tackle, and then Monroe General Mills is over there left tackle.
Hey, speaking on that real quick, saw a commit junior. He's at Lubbock. Cooper saw him. His name is Hope. I'm not sure his last name. He's a O lineman, but
I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, saw him running the 100, talked to him. Hey, y'all be on the lookout. That man was moving pretty good, man. He's
Yeah,
a
he's a
good looking
four-star
kid.
commit.
Yeah, nice young man, great kid. But he was out there. They did a unified track, and that's where our general ed kids work with our special education kids and have a
That's
track meet.
dope.
So he was out there working with them, but I got to see him move around a little bit. So Tech, be on the lookout, man. He's a good looking kid the way he moves. So we're talking about old lineman. I had to throw that in there. Shout out
There
to
you
you.
go. Also mentioned that Josiah Pierre moved into middle linebacker. Wasn't really surprised by that with how much depth they have at linebacker. It makes
Mhm.
sense too, because he's the most experienced with Kershaw Merriweather leaving. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kosi Eldridge does get another year of eligibility, that switches and Kosi gets the dot on the helmet, as they say. Also, Joey McGuire was huge on Tim DeRuyter, saying he's going to have back-to-back players in the first round of the NFL draft. You think about it, Kayvon Thibodeau, Tyree Wilson, he's going to have two pass rushers that go in the top 10 in back-to-back years. And he's, Joey McGuire in true Joey McGuire fashion, rightfully so, says, come play for Tim DeRuyter if you want to elevate your game as an edge rusher. And that's the guy I'm most excited about right now going into camp. And I plan to release a video about guys that I'm watching, and I'm sure Lyle will have some input on it as well. But I'm super excited to see Steve Linton, the transfer from Syracuse, play alongside Miles Cole. I think those two guys have a real chance to maybe not be Tyree Wilson. I don't think it's ever fair to guys to put that level of expectation on anybody, but I think they can be true impact guys because first and foremost, their body type, they're just freaks. And then second of all, you're playing for Tim DeRuyter. You better, if Tim DeRuyter thinks you're a good edge rusher, you're probably a good edge rusher. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to stay healthy. And so I'm really excited about those two guys when it comes to Texas Tech this year, Lau.
Oh yeah, I'm excited, and I have my personal guys too. We'll talk about it in that video, but I think the biggest thing for me is just to see the experience and what it does. Like I'm so big on, like I said, in my life, just the year to year. It makes a huge difference. And just having the support of the fan base, and because like I said, I tell people that all the time. I've been booed at the Jones. I've been cheered at for the Jones. So it's awesome to see that the direction. I'm just excited to see as a whole, see Kitley grow in his second year, understanding the Big 12. DeRuyter, he's kind of been in that Pac-12 before, so he gets it, but still evolving, growing. It's good to see because each of these leagues are so different, from the Pac-12 to the SEC to the Big 12. They're so different. So those guys have to adjust. And every year, people got to realize coaches are getting better too, teams are getting better too. So they've had a year to kind of sit back and say, okay, DeRuyter, this is what you want to do. This is how we're counter back. And so I'm excited to see those guys evolved. And at the same time, he's seeing those same offensive coordinator that he dominated this year, and he gets more time to go and figure out a plan with some guys that might be better in some spots, might not be, but has an opportunity to get some better guys in some spots. So I'm just excited to see him as a whole, as a team. And just like I said, the confidence in McGuire. I think I know Coach talk pretty well, and I think I know when someone really means it or believes it in what they're going. So I'm just excited as a whole to see, and we'll definitely get some videos out when I go to spring practice and check them out. But I'm excited to see, like you said, a lot of those new guys. I want to see what they're about and how they adjust. And like I said, it's adjustment for them. Those guys coming from, Syracuse ACC to the Big 12. We do a little different
Yep.
than the ACC, and so I'm excited to see how they adjust to the new game, the new system.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk about the new guys, obviously, but there's a lot of good guys coming back as well. Obviously, Tyler Shough. You got the dynamic duo and Bradford and Hutchings on the D line. I expect Bradley to take a step forward this year at the wide receiver position. Taj Brooks, he's the main guy now. With Sirajic Thompson gone, there's so much talent. I'm just looking at this team, and it's crazy. You look at it, 24 months ago, how different this roster was in terms of like actual viable Big 12 talent. And it's a testament to those guys in that building, on the coaching staff, on the recruiting staff, everything like that. Obviously, James Blanchard leading the way in that regard. But, just really interesting to see what they're targeting in how they go about doing it. Obviously, speed has been a big thing for them, and rightfully so. But, it comes down to this, Lyle, and I think we've said this a couple times. You can only go so far with the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. And
Amen. Amen.
and Texas Tech has got some Jimmies and Joes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got to perform. Everybody knows that. But this is an exciting time right now because you're seeing some of these guys that didn't get to play last year have a chance to really go and make an impact. And one of those guys, and we'll talk about him in another video, is Ty Canna, the linebacker from Katy. Like him a lot right there. And then Isaac Smith as well at the linebacker position. A lot of youth around here, but a lot of guys that can be impactful next to guys that have a veteran presence and have seen the game slow down, as you mentioned earlier. But one more time for everybody, one word to describe how you feel about Texas Tech football going into 2023. I get it. It's only spring, but damn it, football's back a little bit, just a little bit, right? Just a little, Lyle. Let us know down in the comments. Lyle, where can the people follow you on social media, my guy?
They can find me at Coach LLEONG. You follow my main man
At RCMB323. And if you want to be a part of the fastest growing Texas Tech community on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're giving you the podcast videos. Lyle will be out at spring camp, getting some videos that we'll post on shorts and everything like that. We'll have tons of content coming your way. But again, he's Lyle. I'm RC. Appreciate y'all tuning in to the Back to 12 podcast channel.